We did mention at the start of the day, although it didn't deliver on stream yet, that this deck was considered by many to be the best, and it is at the top tables for a reason. We start things off with Ice. And it seems like Danilo is considering his responses.
No response. Here comes the X, something that we have already seen today. And looking at both players' deck list, there are some differences. And something that Danilo is not playing is the field spell, which we have already discussed about this today. And there are some players which decided not to play it. While on the other hand, of course, John is playing it. And here goes with the Fiendsmith lineup, summoning Lestinto.
And yeah, this is pretty much the usual opening when you're playing the Fiendsmith cards in the deck. This is the XYZ that allows you to breach these two engines together. And yeah, this is where the bestials are extremely good. And we do see a bestial.
How many is he playing, Danilo?
Only no, I think
Magna and
Giovanni.
Yeah, Giovanni is playing. Yes,
But he's playing only the one.
Yeah.
That's the big difference between their decks. Giovanni is only on one Requiem, so Requiem is gone. That's big. But yeah, he's playing a lot of bestials, which is also the main difference. Because yeah, Danilo is I think playing the full package, which we have seen previously with the Lubellians as well. And I think in a mirror match, you have the edge if you're playing this deck list.
Yeah, I think the bestials are the main issues in the mirror match. This is what we said also before, and I think they make the difference, honestly, especially in resolving your pieces. And yeah, looking at the amounts our players are main decking, of course Danilo has the advantage. And here let's see how Giovanni finds his way to deal with this. And okay, he has the sword to continue.
Yeah, now that he's pretty much done using his Fiendsmith cards, he's gonna transition over to the Ryzeals. And here comes the duo, which is negated by the Veiler. I've been waiting quite patiently to use it. And this is usually where you will use it. And here comes yet another difference between their decks, because Danilo is not using the node, while Giovanni is running the one copy. And this way he has been able to set up this detonator. That's one pass, and play is to Danilo, who did a really good job to stop Giovanni in his track thanks to this Druid Sword plus Veiler. And now opens up with Engraver.
I'm really curious to see whether at the end of the day our duelist will dry of playing two of the Requiem in their extra deck or one, because as we just witnessed, now Giovanni is out of them by playing only one.
Yeah, that's a huge deal, because usually even here the Lacrima can be used to access the Fiendsmith in Paradise. But if you're out of Requiem, that's not an option anymore. And that's a huge difference. Which is why Danilo is playing 2 Requiems. Just to be safe against even cards like Unicorn, which have been quite popular. Here we see a nice interaction, which thanks to the Desire being used as a material, is kind of turning this detonator into multiple pops. And I think the Priodo is on Danilo to declare this Lacrima, and yeah, then we are gonna chain the Desire. If we want. Yeah. But definitely a good catch by Giovanni. Who goes to destroy the Lacrima. And still preserve the detonator materials.
There's a talent.
But there is a big talent which is used to draw. Okay.
So maybe he was missing pieces in his hand to continue. And he's hoping to draw into something, but yeah. You can tell that Danilo is not happy with it, and I think he's... Did he pass? No.
Okay, tries to bait Giovanni. Interesting line.
And here comes the Druid's Warp being activated on Nagmuri here, and all these bestials may make the difference in this matchup.
Very tense moment. Danilo really was hoping to find some of these Ryzeal cards and will at least be able to deal with the detonator, crushing it. And again, you know, these bestials really showing why they are so versatile. And I believe now in main phase 2 we are gonna use this Magnamut, debating what to get rid of. Maybe another one off in the... Yeah, you can see him debating whether to get rid of these Desire Forever. And he does. Okay, Impermanence is at least gonna stop the Lubellion from searching out. Do we have any Ryzeals? Probably not. I think we just enter end phase and we are searching for Magnamut. So a sigh of relief from Giovanni, who at least doesn't have to deal with yet another push. But these bestials are really getting into him.
And here comes the ice. Let's see if Danilo has a response to this, but it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, doesn't seem like he's interested in interacting at all. But he does have a few lines. So. Because as opposed to his opponent, he has the Lacrima set up for the Paradise. But instead decides to go for the Baldrake. Getting rid of a detonator and setting up a interruption, allowing him to negate it if he wants. But here comes a very good response in the form of X, negating the Baldrake. Thanks to the aggregator. Oh yeah, as mentioned, this was the big difference in the Bestials, denying Giovanni access to his Fiendsmith Lacrima while allowing Danilo to still have access to his. But yeah, this is a beautiful game one for sure, with both players trying to maneuver what his opponent is holding into, but we see yet another detonator come down. Yeah, here comes Sword.
I don't know if he declared battle phase, because Danilo here is having a think. Yeah, he did declare battle phase.
Yeah, this is rough. Because if you, which is also why I guess it was interesting that Danilo didn't use the Requiem before. But yeah, now he cannot use it because if he wants to use Requiem into Lacrima, he would lose everything to the detonator. And this way is pretty much hiding behind the defense of Lubellion. Which is actually not the easiest to get rid of. And we see the Dweller stopping the Fiendsmiths of Danilo. But never mind the hiding, we switch to attack. Which means that Giovanni can just protect the Dweller and then negate the Lubellion. Which smells a lot of trouble for our Giovanni. Let's see. Attempts to use the effect even though it's negated apparently, but yeah. Now goes for the Typhon in Memphis 2. Interesting execution for sure. And pass. Okay, so Typhon does manage to get rid of this detonator, but another ice coming down for Giovanni.
Yeah, looking promising for Giovanni here, and not much that Danilo can do about this.
Do you think that was a bit of a nerves getting to Danilo with the previous turn of the Typhon? Because I mean, he could have just Typhon first and then attacked, right? But yeah, I mean, Giovanni is just showing why this deck, although they're both playing it, has so much going for it. Another Abyss Dweller setting up what could be the last turn of this game one. And only a face down from Danilo trying to survive this Dweller, which unfortunately would have not been there if he would just order things differently in the previous turn. And now it's up to Giovanni to fight back and find a way to deal this 4,300 damage needed.
Let's see if he finds a way to seal this one out in this game, but I think he's still sitting on the driving seat for this game one. And the face down card from Danilo has been sitting there for the whole game, so yeah. Here the Dweller deal 17 damage, leaving him at 26.
And yet Danilo gets to live to see another day, and he will have access to his Fiendsmith again. Wow, and we actually commit to an SP. We recognize apparently that this detonator is not gonna be enough, and we go for SP to try and cut off Danilo from Requiem. The bad news is Danilo is playing a second copy, differently from Giovanni, who is about to find out in this turn. So hope is still there from Danilo.
This would make a difference if
If he finds his way to to activate the track here and pass for the second Requiem.
And yet this is the deciding moment. Giovanni is probably believing that this is it. But we have the second Requiem, and this is the big difference. And you can see Giovanni really shaking, his head, being caught completely off guard by this. And what a decision it is by Danilo to include it.
Because he completely focused on the Requiem, and I think his play made a lot of sense. If, of course, Danilo was playing one, but do you think this could impact this game one?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely the big difference. And in his mind, it does make sense because Giovanni would have won this game a lot of turns ago if it wasn't for Danilo banishing his own Requiem. And so he probably would have thought, okay, I'm gonna return the favor, so at least I'm slowing down significantly rather than just keeping this detonator alive. But that's not quite how that went. And I'm sure he's regretting this SP a lot at the moment. I also think he might be... I think he went through all of the detonators. Like all three, or like 2 copies that he's playing. Yeah, all 2 copies, yeah.
Yeah, it's just chaining the SP. Oh, okay, it was a bonfire.
Now 20 minutes are down. We see another talent for draw. And yeah, 25 minutes remain, and we are still in game 1 for one of the matches that matter the most. If not, I gotta say the match that matters the most, because oftentimes, if there is only, you know, an XO after the round, it doesn't even matter if the result of the last round is that. I gotta say this was table 2, which means that that is not the case for this event. They're gonna have to battle it out even in round 9 to find out who the winner will be.
What a turnaround of events here, incredible. And we thought for a moment that Giovanni was able to come back into this and he had control of the game. After being, you know, bestial, I think 3 or 4 times during this game. But of course, that choice, yeah.
And that is it. Here they are, and Giovanni is aware now of a lot of the differences between their decks. He knows that there is a heavy bestial count, and he will try his best to play around that knowledge. But we see the Fuvolos from the side deck, from Danilo. Do we have a response?
No response.
We do not, and this is big. It's gonna shut down completely the Fiendsmith combo. Like, that's completely out of the table. It would give him so many draws. So unless he wants to just go Detonator, he could go Duo. Let's see. And yes, skips on the duo, goes for a 4 material Detonator, and probably calls it a day unless he has something to set from the side decks. He does have the talent. And let's take a look. Wow, it's so many different entrops. Plus, is it double ice? Yeah. Wow, it's double ice, which is even the worst thing because you cannot really send one back. Gotta be a little bit frustrating if you are Giovanni. But at least it's not the worst end that you're gonna be facing off against. Like, you are mostly afraid of a lot more engine. Luckily, I think he is on summon 4. Yeah. You got this hand back.
The bestial.
Okay,
Yeah.
makes sense. And now we set 2 cards. We have a lot of help from the side deck, possibly Solemn's Barrier, and Danilo picks up the Metal Chronos. Oh my, what a top deck. Do we have Solemn? Maybe that could be worth it. What a draw from Danilo. Absolutely rough.
Does he have the judgment? Wow. This hurts so much.
Yeah, that was a brutal top deck. Probably the best card that he could have drawn. And it gets to resolve the ice.
And yeah, X gets the sword.
We have Barrier, or what is it? Book of Eclipse. We do have Ash if we want to negate it, and we use the Ash. So we are gonna follow it up with Barrier, which seems to me as if it was a little bit of a bait from Giovanni, probably hoping that this Ash would have been used here. But now we have access to the Fiendsmith engine with very few cards remaining.
And nothing that Giovanni can do about this. That Metal Tronos being top deck from Danilo was huge. And yeah, here Danilo is free to do whatever it feels like. And he's also holding on to an Effect Veiler and an Nibiru here with the Desiree.
He's gonna push a lot of damage. Gonna go and push.
Yeah.
This could be it. Is it? It's over. It is.